What's going on, everyone? Jack here from Half Chrome, and today we're going to take a look at the Hubsan Zino Mini Pro here, and we're going to walk through the app, the features, the flight modes, and we're going to put that 40-minute flight time to the test. So stick around. Okay, so I got the 2 battery package here with the case. The only other thing that's really kind of important other than your 2 batteries, of course, is you get this nifty little charging hub to go with it. You can charge up to 4 batteries, and then you can power it a few different ways, and you can even connect your phone to it, I think, so if you want to power your phone. Now the bag is a little bit different. Looks a lot like a DJI mini bag. But the remote control is kind of buried in the bottom, and you have to kind of open up the Velcro to get at it. Now taking a look at the remote control here, antennas on the top, pull them up, angle them up, and then the sticks for your gimbals are hidden in the bottom here. So you open that up, you go ahead and twist them on. So I'm just going to kind of walk you through the process of getting your Hubsan Zino Mini Pro set up. Alright, so we get both of these sticks on, and then you're going to want to make sure that you grab the right cable. Now I'm using an iPhone, but this is an iPhone 8, so I have the micro USB to iPhone cable here, but they also include a micro USB and a USB-C cable, right? So depending on which phone you use. Now your phone's going to go on the bottom here. It's going to kind of be held in by tension. Now you're going to kind of put that in. Make sure you line the side up so you can plug it in. Plug it in. Now we're ready to fire up the Zino. I'm going to start by turning on my remote control. Double press, hold. Alright, it is on. I'm going to go into my Hubsan app. It is the Hubsan X2 app. I'm going to unfold my drone, front arms, then back arms. Make sure you remove the gimbal cover. I've already removed the bottom obstacle avoidance cover here, so I don't have to worry about that. You can insert the battery from the back, right? Make sure that it clicks. I'm gonna go ahead and set the Zino on the takeoff pad. We're gonna take off. We're gonna start the timer, see how long this battery lasts. While it's flying, I'm gonna walk you through this app. All right, so we are connected. We haven't taken off yet. A couple of things. When you power this thing on, you'll notice right away that you don't get a video screen, right? It doesn't see anything until you take off. That's either to keep it cool or to conserve battery, one of the two. It's just something that's different, so let's just let them know we've got that FPV shutdown reminder. I got it. Now it is kind of nice. It's telling me that there are some firmware adjustments on the way. One that was supposed to happen on 9/10 for time-lapse photography, and then 48 megapixel shooting. That's happening. Looks like that's happening in October, right? So I get some status indicators here. I don't need to calibrate anything. Power is 100%, so we are good to go. Take a sip of my coffee here. Now, just a couple of things while we're waiting for our GPS satellites to kind of get picked up. Looking at the remote from lower left-hand corner, you see the map, and then that green line is kind of the tilt of the drone, right? Because it's horizontal, right? That's nice and flat. You can also see the arrow is pointing down into the corner. That just kind of tells me the orientation of the drone. Pointed straight out would mean it was flying straight away from me, right? And that, looking at the drone from here, I can tell that's exactly correct. Right, moving up from there, I have my takeoff button. I can hold that to take off, or I can push the sticks on the remote down and out. That's what I'm going to do to take off. You can see right above that is obstacle avoidance. Obstacle avoidance is off, right? That is by default. And then I have some flight mode. So I have my 6 satellites. It's ready to fly. All right, so we're going to take off. It is 8:30. That makes it easy. We'll start the timer.
No obstacle avoidance mode. Please fly
Not
with
straight
caution.
up and down, but that's okay. All right, so we're in the air. 8:30. Let's get it out, away from some of these obstacles, and we're just gonna kind of hover for now as we walk through some of these steps. Let's see if we can get it right over here behind me, and then we'll start talking about what's going on here. So it's still picking up satellite, so it's going to get a little bit better in terms of how it performs. Let's see yet, do we? We got that tree there, so it's going to be a little bit difficult. Can we see it? I don't see it. I see it. It's kind of bobbing and weaving a little bit, but we'll keep it nice and close to the ground so that we don't have any issues. Actually, let's bring it out here so I can see it better. Okay. All right, so let's go back to the app. Let's walk through the app, and then we'll worry about the drone here in a second. I can see it. It's nice and stable. It's picking up more satellites. As it picks up more satellites, that hover just becomes a little bit more precise. All right, so let's go ahead and turn on obstacle avoidance. I'm getting a warning here that tells me I need to calibrate it. In order to calibrate it, you have to go to Hubsan.com, download some drivers, download some software. Didn't work for me, so I can't, right? So let's force it open. I found that it does work okay in slow mode, and you can hear that it's beeping because it senses things behind it. Let's get it up in the air. So it's sensing stuff that it shouldn't. I'm going to turn it off so that beeping will stop. And let's walk through the rest of the menu here. All right, let's move to the bottom of the screen. We can see its speed should be, well, it's 0.1 miles per hour, 0.2, 0.3. That's it just fighting the wind. Height, I have it in feet. It's about 17 feet up. It's 40 feet from its takeoff point. That seems, I don't know that seems accurate. Guessing it's, well, maybe it is. Maybe I would guess maybe it's 20, 25, but okay. As we continue to look at the app here, lower right hand corner, you see the CPU temperature, right? So it kind of walks you through, you know, some of the different functions that you may have or may not if it gets too hot or too cold, right? So just kind of a nice to see that. I haven't seen that before, so okay. Moving up, we have a button there, the picture button for the gallery. We've got our shutter button to take pictures. Right now it is in picture mode. You see that picture. Now it's in video mode. I can take videos. Let's go ahead and start taking videos. So now the Hubsan Zino Mini records videos on board. It has a hard drive, and this is a 128 gig version, so that's pretty darn nice. I've got plenty of storage here for my videos. I'm gonna go ahead and stop because I guess I don't need that video. All right, then I have some parameters so I can change things. You know, if I want to shoot in manual mode, I can force the shutter to be faster, right? Which, since it is so bright, I probably would want to do that. And then I can play with the ISO as well. So I have shutter control. Slow as I can go is, let's see, 1/30th a second. All right, let's just go back to auto. We'll let it do its thing. It's figuring that out. Yeah, not bad. Okay. Other options. Click on my three dots. My video bit rate. I can move it from 10 to 200. The higher the bit rate, the larger the file, but also presumably the better the quality. White balance. I have some options there. Color, we're going to go with, let's try sunny day, because you know what? It is a sunny day, or moire off, whatever that is. I don't know. Grid lines, I actually do like the grid. Let's go ahead and turn them on. Just kind of helps you line up shots. I like it if I'm trying to do some rule of thirds, plus it gives me that exact center. So, cool. We got our grid lines on now. All right, we can see the memory card capacity. We can format our memory card there. All right, now our options for video, we have 4K 30. Do we have any other 4K options? It doesn't look like it. 2K, 2.7K, I can shoot 30 or 60 frames a second. 1080, I can bump my frames per second up to 90, right? Or 720, and I just have the 90 there. Let's go ahead and start recording. Let's record this in 1080 actually. That'll just give me a smaller file size. I'm going to use this later, so let's just do that. Okay. What else do we have here? Oh, I can't record and look at some of these functions, so we're going to turn that off. Alright. I think we got through all of that. Let's take a quick double check. Yep. Alright, let's go to camera, and then in camera see what sort of options we have. Looks like they are going to be the same. Alright, so here we go. Photo mode. Single shot, continuous shooting, timed photo, and panoramic photo. Now the panoramic photo is nice, takes a bunch of pictures, but you have to stitch them together, so keep that in mind. Alright, timed photo, we have some options there. Looks like continuous shooting, we have some options there as well. Okay. Alright, photo, we can shoot in JPEG and in RAW, so that is nice. So if you want to do some post-production work on the photos and change them a little bit, color grade them, you're going to want to shoot in RAW. Alright. What else do we have here? In the next to the menu, this strange looking gimbal horizontal correction. You know, some of these drones tend to have horizon issues, so if you find that is the case and you need to tilt it, you can go ahead and do so. You can kind of see I didn't really need to tilt my horizon, but I can, right? It's just a mechanical way to fix your horizon, right? Or in my case, to mess it up. So I'm going to get it back to 0. Now I have noticed on occasion, especially on a windy day, that it does need to be corrected. So let's get it back to 0. Alright. Now I can move the gimbal up and down here with this gimbal slider. Oop. Okay, so double tapping the screen makes the, or is it sliding up? Yeah, slide up. If you tap and slide up, all of the icons disappear. So if you want a better view of your screen, tapping it makes it reappear. I'm supposed to be able to, yeah, there we go. This slider here will work the gimbal by tapping it up and down, but I actually prefer just to use this gimbal wheel. I don't know why I would want that on the screen. I can also zoom here. Let's take a look at the pond, see if there's anything out there, right, on screen here. But it doesn't save the zoomed in file, right? So this is just for you to line up your shots. I believe if I hold function and gimbal, I can zoom as well. Yeah, so function and the gimbal wheel will also zoom in, and that actually I do really like. I'm going to use that way to zoom versus tapping on the screen pretty much every time. Okay, so let's continue to take a look at the menu options here. Right in the upper right hand corner, I've got that settings icon, and we can kind of walk through some of them here. Alright, so what do we have? We have our model name, Zino Mini Pro. I set things to imperial in miles per hour. If you're outside of the United States and you use metric, and it makes more sense, I get it. We won't get into that. Alright, waypoint settings. You have all sorts of waypoint settings that you can set up here if you're going to be using waypoints. Compass calibration, gyro calibration, IMU calibration, horizontal calibration. Now return altitude setting, that is super important that you do that. That's a safety feature that you should always kind of take a look at when you start flying your drone, right? Mine is set for 50 meters, which is roughly 150 feet. And I know that when my drone returns home, if I lose connection or the battery is too low, it will come home. I've seen this happen. I've done it with this drone specifically. You want to make sure that your return to home altitude is higher than any obstacles in its way. Okay, so 50 meters is fine. Search for drone ape, and let's do that because I did bring out a landing pad, a takeoff pad. So let's see if it'll find that when we return it home. We have an auxiliary light on the bottom. We can turn it on. We can have it slow flashing all the time. I wonder if it's bright enough to use as a night beacon. We'll have to look into that. It might be. Probably not, but maybe if it's slow flashing, that might work. All right, APS system. All right, that is your obstacle avoidance system. I don't know that I would call it obstacle avoidance, rather than obstacle recognize, beep at you, and maybe stop. It's not avoiding anything. It's not going around anything, but you can turn the automatic brake on, and it will stop, right? And since my obstacle avoidance was off, that was off, but by default, that's on. Let's turn that off, because I don't want it beeping at me. Anti-wind mode. It will gain greater wind resistance, but the gimbal will be less stable. So if you're flying on a really windy day, you might want to turn this on, but it'll probably fight the wind a little bit more, so the gimbal has to do a little bit more work. And then FPV, if you want your first-person view, if you want to be able to see when your drone is filming, you want that on. I don't know why you would turn that off, but you could, I suppose. Okay. So let's look at the next setting. We've got controls here. Okay, so we've got the Syncly system working, joystick settings. I'm in mode 2. You know, I presume you could turn it to mode 1 there if you want. Remote control, custom button. All right, that's your function button on the back here, right? You can change what that does. Gimbal recovery level or exit the current mode. Those are your two options, right? So if my gimbal is, say, angled down, right? That's what I have it at right now. And I tap that, boom, it angles back up. And that's not bad. Or you can have it exit flight mode, right? So if you're doing an orbit, rather than tapping the screen to stop it, you push the function button and it'll stop your orbit or whatnot, and it will just hover. So those are your two options there. All right. GPS safe takeoff. That just means it won't take off until you find enough GPS satellites. I believe that number is 6. As we continue down, we have a gimbal option. So if you want to, the gimbal right now by default is super slow. So if you want to speed it up, you can do that. You can calibrate the gimbal. Gimbal horizontal correction. Oh, it's just, it brings me back to that menu, but I have that on the screen, so I don't know why I need that inside the menu as well. And gimbal status is currently normal, right? Which is good. Okay, map. Always show the aircraft's current location at the center of the map. Sure. Latitude and longitude coordinates. Do we need that? I do not think so. And then you could do a standard map, a satellite map, or a combination of the two, which is kind of neat. Sample precision of waypoints drawing. I don't know what that is. I assume it has something to do with the waypoints and the map and what that looks like and how accurate it is. Then we have battery. Okay, we can see our current battery voltage, which is nice. Battery status is normal. More. Battery cycles 1. That's not accurate. Each of these batteries have more than one cycle on it. Although maybe because I didn't bring it down to 0 each time. I don't know. But yeah, this is not the first time I've used that battery for sure. Or this one. We've flown a handful of batteries, so I don't quite get that, but whatever. Okay, then at the bottom, general purpose, choose a live streaming platform. You could, I suppose, stream live on YouTube or Facebook. I don't recommend you do that in the United States. If you know Mikey at Philly Drone Life, he got fined from the FAA, and I think it all stems because he was live streaming his flights. You know, I'm not going to get into whether he was doing things wrong or not. I like Mikey. He's a good dude. So don't live stream your flights. Just don't, right? Unless you're indoors. Automatic screen rotation, yes. That just means if your phone is upside down, it'll keep it so your so your feet is normal. The device status list will pop up automatic after detection, sure. Novice guide, okay, so if you're a beginner and you want to run through all this stuff, click on the novice guide. It's going to help you. Version Alright, remote control, aircraft code, all sorts of fun stuff. Alright, so let's get out of here. Take a sip of my coffee. Good eye on that. Yeah, it's rock solid up there right now. We're at 58%. We're about 15 minutes in. So if my math serves me right, yeah, we should get over 30 minutes, which is pretty solid. Alright, man, it's such a sunny day. Hard to see the screen on sunny days. Alright, so let's continue to look at some of the menu here at the top. In-flight GPS. Alright, I tap that and it gives me some just device status list. Okay, cool. We are in N mode. That's normal mode. I can switch the modes here. Now it's in sport mode, so it's going to fly super fast. Zip. It moves pretty darn quick in normal mode. I'm sorry, in sport mode. Then I click it again, and I'm in film mode, which is slow mode, so that it moves a little bit more slowly and more precise. So if you're filming stuff, you're going to want it in that mode. Let's leave it there for now. Alright. Then we just kind of have some, I don't know what those icons mean, on, right? The propellers are spinning and it's on. If I touch them, they don't do anything. I don't know what that was. What is that? Huh, interesting. Alright, then I just have some signal strength indicators. I have 14 satellites. I'm at 54% battery at 6.9 volts. Okay, cool. Let's turn the obstacle avoidance on again. See if we get some more beeping. We do. We do. It's not near any obstacles. So that's just, I mean, that's just obnoxious. And like I said, you got to go and download this software on your computer to fix it. Not fun. All right, let's get to some of the fun stuff. These flight modes. All right, so we're in normal mode. We have hyperlapse mode, which will be available soon, right? So it's not released. Waypoint mode. So we have waypoint mission planning and waypoint memory, which is released. That's cool. Orbit mode. Let's play around with this a little bit. Right, so there are a couple of different orbit modes, or point of interest orbits. You can set the transmitter as your point of interest, right? So if you want it to orbit you, right, you use that, and then you can kind of set the parameters and how big you want it to be. Or you set the aircraft's current location as the point of interest. So let's do that one. Let's take it out over the pond. Get it up in the air, a little bit higher. Alright, so the transmitter, nope, I want the aircraft's current location as the point of interest. Next step, current radius, and then we fly back. Good. 8-meter radius, altitude of 18 meters, right, and then it just kind of will orbit. There we go, I can see it, looks good on the screen. Now if I want, I can play with my, let me go a little bit higher, so it kind of almost has like a helix effect, so that's cool. I can hide my menu there, and if I want, I can even rotate the drone while it's doing that. It's just kind of fun. Alright, let's go ahead and stop. And let's bring it back. Alright. I'm going to tap on the menu here. What that's going to allow me to do is find the quickest path back home. Goodness, super sunny, staring right at the sun. Gimbal down. Get into normal mode. And right above me. There we go. There's my patio. Okay. Gosh, so it is super slow in this film mode, which is okay. Alright, let's get back into some of these modes. Following mode, or you have two different options for follow mode. You have the follow me, right? So you draw a box around you or whatever subject you're talking about, and then it'll follow. It's not the greatest, but it's not terrible. And then you have I'm sorry, I have that backwards. Follow me is GPS follow, so it's going to follow the GPS on your phone connected to the remote here. That is actually really rock solid, right? So you can just kind of walk around and it's going to follow this. And then active track, all right, 40% battery, still okay. We're not bringing that home yet. Active track is where you draw a box around the subject and then it'll follow that subject, right? And that's okay. It'll follow people. It'll follow pets, they say. You can follow a car. But just kind of remember, it is not going to be 100% all the time. All right. Let's get this thing in a more reasonable spot. Gosh, it's like flying into the sun, man. Whew. All right. Here we go. All right, so we're at 40% battery, which is 38% battery. So we're going to keep it close now and just kind of mess around with some of the settings. Oh, man, that gimbal is super slow, but remember, I click that function button and boom, it comes right back up. Okay. 37% battery. Let's see, did we miss any of the other modes? All right, so then we have creative video, fly to sky, 360 shooting, comet, and droney. These are really fun modes. I'm a big fan of, let's just do fly to sky. That's like a rocket mode. I haven't done these on here before. Do they work? Creative video. Fly to sky. Go. 360 video. Fly to sky. Oh, aircraft is too low. Alright, so we gotta start higher apparently. That's my problem. Fly to sky. Oh, cool. So we get a target. Let's gimbal down. Nice and slow, we'll gimbal down. And then we'll draw a target and we'll fly to sky. So you got your rocket mode. Any day we'll get that gimbal nice and low enough. Alright, altitude 10 meters. We'll make it 20 meters. CPU of the mobile device is fully loaded. Click go. Recommend to turn off this feature. Alright, so I'm having some issues with my phone now. Click go. Go. There we go. That's cool. Get your nice little rocket up. Battery level is 30%. Okay, we're not quitting on it yet. 8:55-ish. So we're doing okay here. All right, so it shoots the rocket and then it's coming back to the point where it took off. Alright, I'm gonna fly up. I don't like that it's close to that tree, so let's get it out in the yard. We'll gimbal out. Let's take a look at some of those other modes. Create a video, 360 shooting, comet, and droney, right? So it's nice that it has those modes there as well. Those are kind of fun. Looks like you have to be at least 5 meters off of the ground for them to work. And then line fly mode, basically you put it on a cable, right? And it flies that line, and then you can work the camera and the gimbal and things and not have to worry about stuff like that. So that is pretty cool. All right, let's get at it. 27%. Motors are turning. Okay, so if you tap the upper if you tap the upper left corner, that Hubsan symbol, it'll ask if you want to shut down the drone, and that is not something you want to do. All right, so we're at 26% battery. Take a little sip of my coffee. All right, let's take a look at the remote control because we haven't gone through that yet. But you've got a return to home button. One press there will enter your return to home. Your power button in the middle, don't mess with that when you're, don't mess with that while you're flying. Film, normal, and sport mode. Those are how you change the speed of the aircraft here. And of course, up here we have take a picture button. Boom, just did that. And then start and stop video, which only works if you're in video mode. So I guess that makes some sense. And then of course we have the function button, and we have your gimbal wheel, right? So that is the remote control. Now it does have an LCD screen here, which is nice, and it gives me some information, right? It tells me my battery life on the drone, kind of. I mean, I wouldn't have guessed that it's at 23% there based on that, but okay. I can see that it's spinning. I can see I have 13 satellites. I can see my signal strength, which is really good. It's beeping at me. I can see battery life of this, and then I have some telemetry data. It is 16 meters up and 12 meters away, not moving, or moving at 0.1 meters per second /0. And my yaw degree is 151 degrees. So it gives me, basically I can figure out the heading of my drone, which way my drone is facing from that as well. Okay, battery level is at 20%. And we're coming up on 29 minutes of flight, so that's pretty solid, actually. All right, let's see if we can't get this thing in shot a little bit better. Hold on. Okay, now it's looking at us, we're looking at it, and 18% battery. We're getting down to the nitty gritty. Flying into the sun, or looking into the sun I should say. We're just going to let it kind of hover here, and you can kind of see some of the stability that this thing has, or doesn't. You're at 16% battery. Alright, 16% battery. Spin it around.
Low battery.
Take a look at the rear obstacle avoidance. Alright, so now it's
film.
going to return automatically. Let's get,
Return to home.
I'm gonna get this on. Let's see if it finds that apron. Alright, let's. Oh, we got a tree. So it found a tree. Not sure why it did that. I don't know why it flew over there. That was odd. so it's just coming back. All right, now I'm landing this basically manually. All right, we got 12% battery. Okay, so we landed with 12% battery, 31.5 minutes or so. We'll get the timer official on that. I don't know that I could really have pushed it much. I'm not sure that I could have really pushed it much more in how long it was going to stay in the air, but I did get over 30 minutes, which is pretty good. Now, I didn't have obstacle avoidance on at all, really, because it beeps at me, like you hear it now. Okay, optical flow signal is poor quality. It was probably, I don't know, 10 feet over here. It was supposed to go up and over and come down to land, but it actually flew sideways, clipped that tree. I had to take it out of return to home status, and then landed it manually. So that was a little goofy, but yeah. So we'll figure out the exact, how long could it have flown. 10% more, so maybe 3 minutes or so, maybe. So that's going to get you at like 34 minutes of flight, which is actually pretty good. That's better than most mini drones. So that is kind of a quick walkthrough of the Hubsan Zino Mini. Other things that I haven't mentioned about this drone that you probably want to know: it has a nice 1/1.3 inch sensor, which is pretty solid. It does weigh less than 250 grams, which is kind of what makes it special. It does have obstacle avoidance, but I'm having all sorts of issues with obstacle avoidance. So there's that, right? It does have a lot of nice flight modes, particularly the Follow Me is a nice feature, whether you use a GPS or active track. That's something that the DJI Minis currently don't offer, right? We do know that Autel has something in the works, and we do know that DJI is working on that Mini 3. So do you want to wait? I don't ever suggest you do, because we don't know exactly when they're going to be here or what they're going to be or how much they're going to cost. So that was a quick rundown of the Hubsan Zino Mini Pro. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give us a thumbs up. If not, hey, give us a thumbs down. Tell us what we could do differently, and we'll see if we can't do better next time. Anyway, good luck, everyone. Thanks for watching, and happy flying.